Tenekoto katoa ko Ambrose toko ingoa. My name is, of course, Ambrose Blowfield from the Sales Mastery Company, and welcome to Grow Your Business in Lockdown. This is part one of a four-part series ourselves at the Sales Mastery Company put together in partnership with Gilligan Sheppard. And before I kick straight into some practical tips of how we're going to develop a new marketing strategy for a lockdown or in and out of lockdown business, I wanted to acknowledge Lisa Garrud from Gilligan Sheppard and the marketing division that many of you guys will well know through our newsletters and through obviously the marketing communication, as well as Bruce Shepherd from the management team at Gilligan Sheppard. Thank you for this opportunity. It is my privilege to serve you. The third and final individual I would like to thank and congratulate is you. Congratulations for choosing to take action in your business, for opening your mind to grow, to learn, to develop. I'm hoping that as we go through these particular topics, you write down recently in your business to help you grow during this lockdown and beyond. Number two, I'd like you to write down one thing you're either going to stop doing that is getting in the way of you growing your business. And if you're not able to fully stop it, habits at time management or prioritizing level that's really affecting your success. And then finally, number three, I'm hoping with all sincerity on this part one of four that you write down something you are committed to continue doing in your marketing or sales in order to grow your business moving forward. I'm hoping none of this comes as a huge shock. I'm hoping everything I cover right now feeds into some degree of business knowledge or marketing knowledge or sales knowledge you've already got on board. Your commitment, of course, to your business is to take action. So as mentioned, this four-part series kicks off today with a new marketing strategy. The next session will focus more on the online aspect and digital aspect around marketing. The third session is how do we pick up the phone confidently, reach out to customers and clients in order to be more successful. And then finally, number four, how do we sell virtually in this strange world we call virtual selling? So make sure you attend all four modules or all four webinars in order to maximize your success. So let's take a moment. Whether you're in Auckland like myself in full level 4 lockdown, or whether you're around New Zealand in level 2 lockdown, or maybe you're overseas and you're not in lockdown at all, what are some of the challenges we've experienced in the last 18 months and ongoing as we jump different levels, as we jump one? Face-to-face, without question, is always the best way to develop any relationship. Whether you're a business owner and leader, whether you're trying to parent your children, whether you're trying to teach children online through schools, but of course, when you're trying to reach out to your customers, new and existing. If you want to deepen a relationship and deepen rapport, face-to-face will always be better, but it's not always possible. Personally, given that we coach businesses around the world, we believe in some parts of the world, particularly with a lot of fear, and they might not go back to face-to-face meetings very readily, and certainly people might be nervous to handshake moving forward for possibly even as much as the next decade. Number two, digital communication without question as part of marketing strategy has been growing for 20 years, and the last 18 months of the global pandemic has only accelerated that or embedded some of those behaviors. And then number three, we can't keep doing the same thing. Now there's this old keep getting what you've always got. And if you keep doing what you've always done and the market has changed, your competitors have changed, your clients and customers have changed, they're not as loyal as before, they shop around more, your competitors doing a better job of it. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll probably get less than what you got before. So that's why I want to welcome you to this program and say, let's take action about something you might be able to start doing, something you're going to stop doing or reduce doing, and finally, something you're going to keep doing that's serving you right now. As I mentioned, my name is Ambrose Blowfield, born and raised in the UK, although I grew up also in France and in Switzerland, which is where I was educated between those three countries. We've been in business for over 17 years. We've helped over 15,000 small to medium enterprises in over 20 businesses worldwide. And similar to your business, I suspect, we were massively impacted 18 months ago with the global shutdown. For me, because of the previous decade, I'd spent an average of 100 nights a year away from my family and away from home. of which 3/4 were overseas, training businesses around the world, and 65% of our income stream came from face-to-face training and coaching. All of a sudden, overnight, the tap shut off, and it's been shut off ever since, pretty much. I've done one overseas trip into Australia in the last 18 months. Usually I do 18 trips minimum into Australia over that time period. So like all people, we've had to adapt. Now, we were lucky, as many of you might well be, if you've got a Shopify account or an e-commerce website, where we could still grow what was a third of our business income, which was essentially online coaching and training. But again, not all businesses were fortunate to have some income or some capability in those areas. I suspect you've learned a lot in the last year and a half. So let's look at the fundamentals of business and where sales and marketing fit. Now, this tool, you need to think about getting right in your business in general, not just in lockdown, but in general. The first leg is sales and marketing. Now, the whole purpose of that leg, that column, is to make promises to customers. That's the whole purpose about it. And it's got three parts. There's the marketing proposition, which I'll explain shortly. There's the marketing communication, which again, I'll explain in a bit more detail. Then there's an element of selling, which is when you agree to do something for somebody, maybe send the product out to them, maybe serve a service to them. And they, of course, agreed in return to give you money. Then, of course, you come to the middle leg, which is the operational leg. And that whole purpose of that leg is about delivering on your promises. Whatever we promised in sales and marketing, we need to deliver on that. Typically, there's an element of customer service there. There's many, many steps involved in operations. That might be research and development, might be doing some sort of design and production, might be installing or dispatching or serving customers. And then, of course, there's an element of administration to make sure we don't make a mess of things. And if we get all of those things right, then we move into more the finance aspect. And the finance aspect makes sure we're fully compliant. You could bring in systems and procedures into that. You could even bring your management team. And if we do all of those steps, of which there are dozens and dozens of dozens when you combine them, we ideally produce profit. Now, there's no point in your marketing or selling to produce sales unless we retain profit. We run a business out of gross profit. I appreciate you may have come under price pressure in the last 18 months. It may be a long-term trend you're under price pressure. But the driving force in the business is always about profit. And if we get those bits right, we should then reinvest that profit back into our marketing, into our selling, into our customer service, into our operations, our admin, and into our finance. And therein lies the beautiful loop if we get this right. So take a moment to think about, where am I strong or weak in, and what do I need to improve? Because for you to have a successful business to grow in or out of lockdown, you need to be good in all of those areas. So let's think about your marketing goals right now. Take a moment, if you've not done this recently, write down your overall annual goals. Now, if you want those to be overall turnover goals, you're welcome to do that. It might be the number of products you want to ship and sell. It might be the gross profit goals you got for the year ahead. But get clear on what your goals are. Even if we're not sitting right now at your financial year end, just know 12 months, this is where I want to be. At the same time, think short term. Most people are very good at thinking about 90 days or 120-day goals. We kind of fit in with the seasons right now. So if you're sitting in your business right now, if this is late on or just coming into September 2021, think about, where do I need to be at the end of December? Or if your business goes into slowdown for December and January, where do I need to be through to the end of January in order to be safe? Now, most of our customers are in New Zealand and Australia, and typically our society slows down in late December, slows down for the whole of January. So if you're not clear around your cash flow management through to the end of January, get clear on it now, get clear on what your goals are, because if it's September when you're watching this, then you've only got a few months to get that cash in the bank to tie you through to February 2022. Next up, we need to bring it a little bit. Make sure you watch all 4 parts of this webinar series to help you train to grow your business. Make sure you take action. If you get really stuck, on our website at salesmasterycompany.com, there's a 30-day sales strategy plan you can download for free. Get clear on, where do I want to be in the next 30 days? How am I going to grow in the next 30 days? Because we've got to self-fund if we're a small to medium business and you're not reliant on the bank or not reliant on external investors. Finally, let's get clear on your priority. Your job right now, in or out of lockdown, is to make sure we make sales and we collect the cash. There's no point making sales if your accounts receivables or collections doesn't work. There's no good delivering products and services, which are expensive to deliver, if you're not going to be paid for it. Obviously, the other aspects of that, which any good financial expert, such as Gilligan Sheppard, would probably attest to, is ideally get deposits up front, get people to put cash in your bank in advance. Two reasons for that. Number one, they're more likely to pay you the last part of the bill if they've already paid it for in advance. And number two, it helps with your cash flow and their full commitment up front. So think about, how do I make more sales? How do I get more cash in my bank? That's got to be your focus right now. Now, if you studied marketing or you've done an MBA, you will know this intimately. But in essence, there are 4 ways for any business in or out of lockdown to make money. The simplest and easiest way for any person to make money right now is to keep selling your existing products and services to your existing up-to-date customers. Without question, you've got rapport and trust. You know how to deliver on the promise. They know how to pay your bills for those things. So if you're trying to grow yourself right now, the starting point has to be, can I go back to customers I've got right now? Are there any gaps in my strategy right now? Are there any things that I've sold to customers in the past and they're not buying that from us right now? That's where you've got to start. It's easier for you. It's easier for your team, and ultimately easier for your clients. The second area, of course, is what McDonald's and certainly people like KFC are very good at doing, which of course is cross-selling and upselling. So with your existing customers, what could we sell to them that is new? Now, when I say new, it might not be totally new to them. This could be something that they bought from you 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago. Maybe it's a product you don't carry anymore. But if you want to find it easy to recover a business or to exceed your expectations in terms of growth, having sold your existing products to your existing customers, start to look at new products, start to integrate new. Now, ideally, they would be related to your existing products or services. They don't have to be, but ideally they would be, because then you're confident and your team's confident about what you offer to them. As I said before, this doesn't have to be brand new. It could be something that you haven't sold for a while. It could be something they bought from you 5 years ago. So that would be the second easiest area for you to gain growth in your business. The third area of the Ansar matrix is to stick with your existing customers. And of course, to go after new customers and to go with existing products. And what I mean by that is, stick to your knitting, stick to your experience, stick to your expertise, where you and your team have got a brand reputation for selling that product. You know how to deliver it. It's not going to damage your brand because you know how things go. Go after new. Now, that's what most people focus on when they think about advertising campaigns, whether they're online or offline, when they think about preaching through their social media channels, when they think about, knocking on doors, doing telemarketing and all of those sorts of things. Those sorts of approaches are typically, I want to take what we're already good at doing and take it to new people. If you've saturated all that your existing clients and customers could buy from you, then of course you're going to have to go after new if growth is what you're after. So people often find that to be the third easiest way to go. They often go 1, 2, and then that's number 3 most commonly. It might be that you're trying to take your existing products into a new sector, a new market, a new geography, a new industry, a new country, perchance. Anything like that that is a new environment with what you're already good at doing is often the third area of the Ansar matrix. And then finally, if all else fails and you cannot reach your existing customers and you cannot take your existing products or services to new customers, then you will have to truly pivot. And I suspect prior to now, you might have had to address this if you hadn't already. This is about taking a leap of faith into a brand new sector, brand new geography, brand new regional province, so into a new product area at the same risk. There are very few companies have the stomach for it. There's very few companies have the boldness for it, or there are very few companies that can't sell in the first 3 quadrants in order to grow, and therefore are forced to move into this 4th quadrant. A company globally that many of us have heard of is the Virgin Group with Richard Branson. They're experts at doing this. While they were selling Virgin vodka and also running trains in the UK, they launched into Virgin Blue as a budget airline in Australasia. Remember, no to Australasia, let's hop on a cheap airline trans-Tasman or to the South Pacific. No one would conceive that. No one's riding on a train in the UK going, oh, I should fly to Fiji next week. It just doesn't happen that way. It's a huge risk to do for. So please take a moment, think through the 4 elements of the Ansar matrix. The first question to ask yourself is, which of these areas could give us growth? And then what should be my priority? Am I going to go in the order Ambrose just told me of ease? Or maybe I've saturated number 1, so I jump to number 2. Think about what you could do and then think about where your priorities should lie. Next up, as I mentioned before, when we think overall within your business, we need to think about the marketing proposition, which is all about who you are, what you do, and how well you do it. It's about where do you fit in the marketplace. You know, are you Mercedes-Benz, or are you Lamborghini or Bentley, or are you more Toyota, or are you more Mazda, or are you Datsun? I mean, again, where do you sit in the marketplace? Now, your marketplace could have been very, very turbulent over the last 18 months, maybe over the last 10 years. But where do you want to sit? Where should your price point be? That's part of your marketing strategy. You might choose not to discount, as most of our customers around the world choose not to. They're trying to retain those growth profit margins to fund their business. But where do you sit? What are you going to offer? Just because you've been selling something for the last 12 years doesn't mean you have to keep selling it. What are you going to offer to the marketplace? Who are you? Now, this is something that, again, a lot of MBA study, a lot of marketing consultants spend a lot of time analyzing. It's often introspective, focused on you within your business. But what is your marketing proposition? What do you stand for as a business advantage? All of those, however, sitting here right now, in or out of lockdown, and you're watching this thinking, well, I'm not going to change who I am. Great. So tick it off. Stick with your marketing proposition. However, we recommend you review us on communication. That's obviously something we're going to focus on online around communication in the second part of this 4-part series. But in essence, your communication of your marketing is, how do we tell the world how marvelous, or in your business or in your upbringing, you might say, well, listen, I don't want to boast too much. I want to remain humble in what I do. That's great at a personal level. But if you don't communicate how well you do what you do, if you're not consistent in how you communicate what you do, why would an existing customer come back to you if someone else is better at telling their story or communicating their brand story? Likewise, if you're a prospective customer to your business and it's not clear about the repetitive message of, this is who we are, these are the values we deliver, this is what we stand for, if you can't communicate it, why would a prospective customer choose you? The marketplace is competitive enough. We need to be good at both marketing proposition and marketing communication. Likewise, one of the golden rules on any business, as I mentioned, we've coached over 15,000 businesses worldwide. This is something they all need to get better at. We all need to get better at. Lockdown or no lockdown, stop and think. Within the Ansar matrix, thinking about my target customers, who are my 3 ideal target customer focuses? Now, the world of digital marketing likes to refer to these as buyer personas. Traditionally, in business and in sales, we think of these as target customers or target customer profiles. But what we're trying to do here is get a balance with focus and generalization. I appreciate if you're a New Zealand-based business, we're only 5 million people scattered across a few islands, so it isn't a huge market. So we have to be a little bit more flexible around this in Australasia, and certainly within New Zealand if your market is quite small. But if your market is big, let's get focused. Let's get clear. Let's get understanding around who are our target markets. We can have 3 of those so that our sales and our marketing team and our whole business knows this is who we serve. Maybe put names around that. Think about the cars they drive. Are they married? Do they have kids? Where are they located? Are they organizations? Are they government departments? Are they businesses? Are they households? Let's get specific. The major advantage of redoing this in lockdown is you're often less distracted by the day-to-day. You can take a step back and go, who do I really want to serve? Who pays us plenty of money? Who stays loyal? who are really suited at serving. And the more specific you can be, the more you won't waste time in your marketing, you won't be advertising to the wrong people, and that your team can picture the people they serve, their products and services too, so they know how to do a great job. So make sure you either pause the video now, or you watch the video to the end and you come back to this exercise. Define 3 target markets that describes the person in the organization, or the person in the company, or the person in the household that meet those 3 ideal criteria. Next up, know your competitive advantage. When we think about our competitive advantage, what we're saying there is, what are our points of difference? Why would someone choose to say yes to us? Why should existing customers stay saying yes to buying our products or services? And this comes from the S being the strength of SWOT. SWOT, of course, standing for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Your strengths is what it comes from. And we need to consider our opposition, because these are our strengths. Competitive advantages are your strengths relative to most of your opposition. This isn't USP. USP stands for unique selling proposition. That's what makes you truly unique. This is what makes you better than most. A lot of people go a bit too far with this one and start producing taglines and slogans. Keep it simple. Make sure you and every member of your team, large or small, is clear. What makes us special, which is your strengths, what makes us special versus our opposition. And remembering it's probably going to be a series of factors. It will undoubtedly be, 2, 3, 4, 5 different factors. There may be as many as 10, but you've got to get clear about this right now. And the reason we do that is because then our sales team, our marketing team, our website, our proposals can always weave back in the same messages, the same language with consistency, so that when we share posts through social media, when we share case studies, when we do a blog on our website, when we send out an invoice, we're reinforcing this is who we are in the covering email, in the wording around it. Maybe if you're asking for testimonials from customers, you get in there to say these competitive advantages on who you are. So please spend time right now getting clear around your competitive advantage. And a great exercise to see if you've got alignment across your team, whether you're a 1-person company and you've got maybe some external people advising you. Maybe you're a 2 to 5-person company and you sit around the table together or hop onto a Zoom together, for example. Maybe you're a 50-person company. What I recommend you do is ask everybody this question. Guys, please could you write down our 3 to 5 points of difference or competitive advantages? And I will guarantee you this one thing. Not only will you likely write down subtly different ones to one another, the order in which you write them down will almost certainly be different. And the wording with which you explain them will also almost certainly be different. Mental competitive advantages. Next up, I want to share with you something from a book my wife and I published in the UK, going back to 2017, on the authority guide to writing and implementing a marketing plan. Even though my main focus these days is around sales and sales strategy, our origins was also to teach marketing around the world. And we put together a summary of what we're trying to do to drive profits through your marketing strategy. As you've seen there on the slide, at the base level, get clear on your proposition, which includes clear on your competitive advantage. Next level up, think about your marketing communication. How do you preach your message to the world and how it impacts the 5 profit pillars of marketing? Your marketing activity is meant to help gain new customers if, when you go back to the Ansar matrix, you're trying to grow through new customers. Remember, quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. Most businesses could also increase the average sale price when they sell to their customers. If you can do that, then you need to focus on that pillar. And some of your communication's got to help that. Some of what you do in sales and marketing has got to drive that. Number 3 is slightly harder for marketing to do. It's often our finance or operations team focus on this. But why should marketing as well? How do we get to keep 4 pillars of profit is about how do we retain the customers? How do we get them to buy from us more frequently? Maybe they order once a year and you can get the average person to buy 1.1 times a year. Maybe they buy every 10 months rather than every 12 months. What could you do to increase the frequency of order? Maybe most of your customers buy once every 6 weeks. How could you get that to once every 4 weeks? And finally, number 5, so relevant to New Zealand and to a fair degree Australia as well. How can you get them to tell their friends? How can you get people to refer? Did you realize one of the easiest ways to get referrals, strangely enough, is to ask for them? So that's what I'd like you to do once you've let this video play out to the end. As a team or individually, grab a scrap of paper or workbook, maybe open up an Excel spreadsheet and challenge yourself to put in place 3 areas of your marketing to help in all of those 15 areas it will be, because you've got the 5 pillars, 3 areas in each. So think about a matrix. Think about, what am I going to do? So let's say Google AdWords, that might be trying to target new customers. Your email newsletter might be a way to retain customers, but it also might help with referrals. If you have a refer a friend voucher or refer a friend and win this. So think about those 3 areas to help those 5 pillars, and you're going to go a huge step towards growing your business in the next 12 months. Last couple of things to cover off. Please think about integrating sales and marketing together. Sadly, we call it sales and marketing, even though sales is actually a subset of marketing communication. Having a sales team on the phone or face-to-face or via webcam is one of the ways we communicate our message and listen to our customers. So it should be marketing then sales rather than sales and marketing, but we need to go with what's been taught for 50 years. Let's think about customer acquisition. Your sales team need to think about that. Your marketers need to think about that. And if you're responsible for both sales and marketing, you need to think about both from both perspectives. Remember, sales is the interpersonal side of marketing. And of course, marketing could be other things as well. Think about, how can you combine newsletters? How can you be more segmented? How can you do lead generation in marketing into sales? And the sales refers people to social media, maybe back onto your website. Then the sales team take it back again. So the relationship might be marketing, sales, marketing, sales. Talk about integration, get more and more alignment, and look at how sales can help marketing and how marketing can help sales. And if you get that right, you will grow your business long beyond lockdown. The other comment I want to make right now, if you haven't gathered it already with existing customers, please make sure you've got people's mobile numbers and direct dial numbers if they're going to be locked down at home or if they're going to be sick. Otherwise, you cannot reach them in further lockdowns. And finally, I just want to say once again that if you want to take this further, if you want to get more guidance and advice, obviously reach out to Lisa and the team at Gilligan Sheppard if you're wanting to reaffirm strategy or your messaging. Lisa's the person to go. Sales aspect of things, and to some degree marketing, though we don't do any of the doing, unlike Lisa and Gilligan Sheppard. Then you've got my details on the screen. Equally, you can reach out to both of us on LinkedIn. We're absolutely here to help. Once again, I've been Ambrose Blowfield. We are the Sales Mastery Company. Thank you on behalf of Gilligan Sheppard. Please take action today.